Yo, me back with another episode of Minecraft Survival Games. Today we're playing the map Winter Haven, and today, guys, I'm finally doing part 3 of 3 for my senior graduation week retelling. So, without further ado, let's get into this game, and I will talk to you guys about how graduation day was. You know, that's actually a pretty big day in one's life, the day they graduate high school. And for me, it was no exception. I was waiting for so long, probably since the end of sophomore year, for graduation day to come, because I just needed to get out of my school. It was a nightmare going there, by a certain point in time. Okay, oh, I got the diamond, sick, okay. Yeah, it got to be pretty difficult to go to school at some point, just because I hated it so much. But, you know, I stuck it out, and I was so happy it was graduation day. At my school, we don't do caps and gowns. We do white tuxedos for the guys and white dresses for the ladies on graduation day, which personally I think is better than a cap and gown. I looked so good in my white tux. You guys have no idea. My hair was all perfect and everything, besides the fact that I still haven't gotten a haircut. I'm in really desperate need of a haircut right now, and I have not, I have not gotten a haircut in about a month, and it is crazy long, but I might be going to get one tomorrow, but I am digressing at the moment. So, getting back to it, so, we had to meet up at the high school, the graduates, and then they bus us all over to the, giant performing center downtown where the symphony usually plays. So we went all down there, and were there always two chests over here? So we went down there, and first thing they have to do is they have to take the photos, which with my grade of graduates is a lot harder than you think it would be. Basically it just came down to the issue that nobody would shut the hell up. Like, they kept telling us to be quiet, and every time everyone would settle down, like, they wouldn't have their camera stuff ready, so then people would start whispering, and then whispering would turn into light talking, and then light talking would turn into regular talking, and then they'd have to quiet us down again, and the cameraman would come down the ladder and be like, guys, calm down, I'm trying to take the photo, and then he'd climb back up the ladder and have to get all his stuff arranged again, and we probably stood there for about a good half hour before we finally got through the photos. And that was a nightmare. Then we each had to take an individual shot with the headmaster. And you know, that wasn't a big deal. I got near the front of the line, so I didn't really have to wait that long. And then they lined us up to for the ceremony to begin. But the annoying thing was we were literally waiting there for about 1 hour. So far, if you've taken note, all I had been doing graduation day was waiting, because I had to go on the bus there, then we had to wait for the giant photo with the entire grade, then I had to wait in the line to get my photo with the headmaster, even though it wasn't that long, and then I had to wait for the ceremony to begin. So, of all things I could describe for the day so far, it was just waiting, and even before I had to get ready, since I had to be at the school at 4, I was just waiting for graduation to begin. So, finally, it's beginning, and we walk in and everything, and we process in, we take our seats, and there's like a prayer, because it's Christian school, so they have a prayer, and then it is like a long slew of 5 horrible speeches. Ugh, even the 2 faculty members they got to speak were very dry, and the 3 girls that had been selected by the staff to speak, all of them sucked. Their speeches were so dry. It was just painful having to sit there and listen to them. But I was really hyped for my brother's speech. As I told you guys, my brother was going to be giving a speech at graduation. So he was sitting next to me, and he was all excited about that. Shouldn't have pulled out your bow, son. You might have had me with the sword. Might have had me. Anyway, yeah, my brother was all excited for his speech, and I was excited because if anybody had a shot of turning around this graduation thing, it'd be him. And yeah, the main address was given by a senior girl, and I didn't like it because the speech just got more and more and more and more depressing as she kept speaking, but then she tried to salvage it at the end by ending it on a lighthearted note, but it didn't really work because of all the depressing stuff she had already said, so it left me on a weird note. But then there was another girl who spoke, and then a faculty member who spoke before we walked to kind of re-liven the place up, you know what I mean? Yeah, I can make a diamond sword. So yeah, that was that. So then it was time to walk across the stage and receive the diplomas. Now this is the part everybody at my school had been waiting for. They had threatened so many times, if you don't complete these graduation requirements, you will not walk. So it was a pretty huge deal at my school to actually walk due to all the BS graduation requirements they were able to stack on because it's a private school. So they don't have to get approval from the state on as many things. Okay, so let me come in here before talking about walking. Okay, and then some arrows. And 2 more gold bars and I can make a golden apple. This might go into a second game. Depends on how long it takes to talk about the rest of the graduation ceremony. Yeah, I mean, with 4 people remaining, it's gonna span into 2 games. So hopefully you guys don't mind. So yeah, that was the first half of graduation. Just some boring speeches. I mean, since my brother was sitting right next to me, I talked to him for a bit, and I was pretty good friends with the girl who was on my other side, so I talked to her for a bit as the speeches were going, because, I mean, they were boring. I didn't want to sit there and just do nothing, so I talked to them. Anyway, walking across the stage was kind of a surreal moment. I don't remember it that well, but I remember it pretty well. My row had to stand up and then go to the side of the stage so then we could walk across. And what was cool is as we were standing up and processing, I was able to pass by some people who had already received their diplomas, or people who were just about to receive theirs and were before me in the alphabet. And we were high-fiving each other, going like, we made it, we made it, we made it, we made it. Like, everyone was high-fiving each other as we were preparing to walk across the stage. It was really cool. And then so my brother was right before me, since his name is Dylan. He comes before Liam. Since we have the same last name, he comes before me alphabetically. So he walked, I got to see him walk, and while he was walking, I just kind of stood there and watched him pass. And then they're like, Liam, and then I'm not going to say my last name, at the moment, so they're just like, Liam. They said my middle name too, and then my last name, so they're like, Liam, and then, I go, I'm walking, I kind of know what's going on. I remember in my head, I wanted to be smiling as I walked across, just so if they took any photos, it would at least look like I was happy to be graduating. That is what was going through my head as I was actually walking. So, as I was walking, I had to shake some dude's hand who I've never seen before. I think he was like the head of the board for my school, whatever that means. Because there was a signature on my diploma from him, so I'm assuming he was one of the guys. And then I had to shake the headmaster's hand, and while I was shaking his hand, he handed me my diploma. And I was so happy to finally get my diploma. I cannot stress that enough. Oh my god, man. My school was a very difficult one to get through, so it was so satisfying to finally just be done and have that in my possession. So then we sat down, but the best part of the whole ceremony was still yet to come, because my brother was going to be giving the farewell speech, and his was the last speech, and then we processed out. So he had to save it. I mean, it was cool to walk across the stage and get our diplomas, but like, we were still ending on a pretty dry note from the previous speakers who had gone up. So my brother goes up there, and I can't really give this speech to you guys, because of course it's like 5 minutes long, or something like that. But he basically saved it. In short, he saved it. He delivered a really good speech that brought together the class, and it was very funny. It had some jokes that mildly attacked the school for some things we hated. But the most solid part about it is that he delivered a rap at the end. It was very it was a very well thought out rap. My brother is not good at rapping, if that makes sense. Like, the act of him rapping isn't good, but like the rap he made was good, and it was very clever, and it was well received by the audience. Very well thought out, and he basically saved it. After all those dry speeches we had just sat through for the first half of the ceremony, my brother saved it. So that was good. And a bunch of people, like, I heard one of the girls who gave a crappy speech came up to him after the thing, and they're like, haha, we gave the 2 best speeches, and my brother was just like, yeah. Like, my brother blew it away, and he knew it, and everyone else knew it, but like, yeah, it was a really cool sight to see. So this is gonna be carried into another game, because I have to talk about the after party. I mean, even though this game's about to end, I could carry it in just to a 4th part, but I'm sure the 3rd part already has less views than the 1st and 2nd part. So there's no point making a 4th part to get even less traffic. We're just gonna stick it in one recording. It's probably gonna be a really long episode. But basically the graduation after party is what I gotta discuss next, because this took place only a couple hours after graduation. So in between the graduation ceremony and the party, we took photos after we processed out, and that took like 30 minutes. I said goodbye to a ton of people, even though I was just gonna see them again at the party. And congratulated a bunch of people, and a ton of people congratulated me, and all that stuff. Okay, I don't want to fight this dude yet. I think these guys gotta be a team. Okay. Yeah, I mean, not much I could really do there, sorry. Those guys kind of look like a team to me. Okay, let's just hop into another game. Okay, 22 seconds, not that bad. Kinda don't want to play the same map, so Breeze Island 2 it is. Okay, so yeah, in between graduation, we took photos, congratulated some people, people congratulated me, and then we left. And then we came back to my place, and some of my extended family swung by my house. We shared some pizza, talked about graduation, talked about college, you know, just some family stuff. And then it was time for my brother and I to go to the graduation after party. Now, what was weird about this party is we all had to meet at the front of the school, and a bus was going to take us to an unknown location, and we weren't going to get back till 3 a.m. in the morning. So, I had a long night ahead of me, considering I hate the parties my school throws. They are so awful, and I do not like the kids at my school, meaning there isn't a lot of fun to be had at these parties, because I'm not chilling with my friends, just having awkward small talk with a ton of people. But, anyway, oh man, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh my god, this is one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft anymore, just because when I'm trying to record, stuff like this can happen. It's very difficult to get a good recording of SG out sometimes, just because I don't know how long it's gonna take. And it can be quite some time before you get a game that lasts 10 to 15 minutes. So, oh, someone said welcome back. Sup. Okay, let's do some holidays. Okay, so back to what I was saying. This bus was going to take us to an unknown location, so I had a long night ahead of me. And I had already spent enough time with these kids at graduation, and I was pretty tired at this point in the day. So this was really going to test my endurance here to see if I could make it through one last hurrah. So, my brother and I, we go to the bus, and everybody's changed out of their tuxes and dresses, and that's all good. So we're in our comfy clothes, and this bus takes us, and it takes us pretty damn far. We are driving for at least 30 minutes. I'd say the drive to the unknown location is at least 30 to 40 minutes. Which, even though Dallas is a major city, a 30 to 40 minute drive anywhere is pretty lengthy. And it took us really far up north, way outside the Dallas boundary. Anyway, you might be wondering, well, where did it end up taking you? It took us to, that's north. It took us to, like, a ghost town that had been renovated into a party, venue. So basically, it was a whole street that used to be a ghost town. It was designed to look like an old west town. I'll just call it a ghost town for the sake of the video. It basically looks like one of those old-timey towns you see in the old west movies. And that's where the party was. And you couldn't really go in any of the buildings. They only had one building that two buildings you were able to go into. One was the saloon, and one was the bank. Now, you might be wondering, since it's a high school party, and there was a saloon, did they serve any alcohol? And the answer is no. Since it was run by the parents, no alcohol was allowed. But people were pre-gaming on the bus on the way there. Pre-gaming means you drink before you get to the party. So people were pre-gaming on the bus to the ghost town, and some of them had snuck in some flasks to drink throughout the night. So the saloon, instead of serving alcohol, was a dance room. They hired a DJ, and he just played music. It was pretty terrible and not that good at all. So not that fun. Second building was a bank. They had an air hockey table in there that barely worked, and a foosball table, which I couldn't really find anyone to play with me. So that proved to be a real bust, and I couldn't even figure out why they made the game area why the bank was the game area, if that makes sense. I don't know why that was how things played out, but it was, and I was really in no position to argue with it. They had a food truck that served some very low-quality quesadillas, and they had a fire pit with s'mores, but I didn't want any, and that was basically it. But they also had a bounce house, but I didn't go on that. Okay, okay, I could just get this guy's armor, it looks like. Hey, man, that guy nearly actually got me. He kind of scared me for a second there, to be quite honest with you. But, why was he not hitting me with his sword initially? That kind of weirds me out a bit. Okay, let me eat, just to make sure I don't die of, low health, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, rather than going dancing in the saloon or playing the games, most of us just stood in the street and talked to each other. A couple of the buildings had benches in front of them. That's where a lot of the kids hung out. But the main common theme of the party was, it was boring small talk. I hated every second I was there, and I could not wait to go home and never have to see any of these kids again. I cannot stress to you how much I wanted to get out of there. But I couldn't, because even if I had wanted to, I would have had to wait for the bus. And you better believe I had wanted to get out of there. So yeah, there was no leaving. I was forced to wait until 2 or 3 for the bus to take me home. So, rather inconvenient, huh? Okay. So, you know, it was pretty boring talking to people. I mean, people were talking about graduation and all that stuff. But, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but my grade did superlatives for the yearbook. Basically, superlatives are stuff like most likely to succeed, most likely to become a teacher, most likely to become president. You know, stuff like that. Those are superlatives. Most likely to blank. Or most something, like most beautiful, nicest smile, loudest talker, most tall. You know, just stuff like that. I was actually voted most genuine, which means I keep it more real than the other kids in my grade. So, yeah, I was voted most genuine, and because of that, a bunch of people wanted to know what I honestly thought of them. There were some kids who asked me to tell them what I honestly thought of them, good or bad. And for a lot of people who asked me what I thought of them, I really didn't have many bad things to say. And even if I did have something, and even if I did have a lot of bad things to say about a person, I could usually preface it by saying, you're a nice person for the most part, but here's a couple things. there were some people, I do admit, I had to kind of lie to just because I hate their guts with a burning passion, and I just couldn't say that to their face. But some people took their stuff insanely well. Like, for example, we have a couple girls in my grade who have way better grades than I do, and they're some genuinely smart people, but they make dumb decisions by getting drunk and high all the time. So to each of them, I said, you're nice people, you're very smart, but you make dumb decisions a lot. And they actually seem to like that description of themselves. A lot of the people who I had negative complaints about are like, yeah, I guess I can be like that sometimes. Like, some people, I told them, half the time I like you, half the time I think you're a joke, and they're like, I could see that. You know, like, it didn't appear like anyone was super pissed, and that wasn't my goal. If someone wanted me to give their opinion, I wasn't gonna try to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, I do need that boat, so let's light a fire. I hate how open this area is. I could be killed at any moment. Okay, 4 people remaining. So anyway, that's all I did for the night. I mainly just talked to people, told them what I truly thought of them. Okay, let's kill this leather guy and send ourselves to deathmatch. And that was pretty much it. Okay, he definitely saw me. Wish I wasn't low from the previous fight. Oh, whew. Got him in the water. That could have taken a lot longer than it should have. So yeah, bus took us home, and since then, the only person I've seen who has graduated from my school has been my brother, because, well, of course, he lives in the same house as me, and he's only 1 staircase away. So yeah, he's the only person I've seen since graduation, and I'd like to keep it that way for quite some time. So that is pretty much it, guys. That is my experience with graduation week. I was, like, a bunch of people were like, it's so bittersweet, it's so bittersweet. No, it was only sweet. There was no bitter. It was a long week, but it had its high reward at the end. So I'm lucky I got my diploma, and I'm lucky I'm going off to college, and I did learn some important things in high school. But I'm done with it now. So yeah, that is the conclusion of my senior graduation week. The repodu, I'm sorry it kind of took so long to describe the whole story, but it did. And next episode should be a Sky Wars, and it won't be graduation related at all. I know the topic, so I can assure you it's not going to be graduation related. Okay, so let's go ahead and kill... Shoot, I was hoping that wouldn't get me. Okay. Oh, I hate the flint and steel. It's so... It slows you down so much, and I'm screwed. I didn't even see that guy come behind me. Okay. I can't even tell what the deal is here. Yeah, see, I wasted my gap on an earlier... Not wasted, because I wouldn't have made it to this point, but I used my gap in an earlier fight. Yeah, I'm screwed. I'm utterly screwed. Somehow I'm not dead. The plot thickens. Okay, I'm trying to eat. You guys need to attack each other. I'm just trying to regain my health. Okay. Man, if I won this, that'd be a huge comeback. There's no way I should be winning this. Okay. Focusing. Okay, one guy's in the woods. Other guy's over here. Damn it! He got me on fire. He's gonna get me. Oh, I'm taking you down, boy! Okay, actually, let's just get out of here. No, dude, go after the other guy. He's pretty low, too. And, yeah, I'm not using... I didn't even get a good flint and steel hit. These guys need to attack each other. I'm sick of this. Okay, finally, we get some action. Okay, that could have been close. Okay, come on, lightning. Strike him. He's pretty far. And, of course, he chugs, but that lightning just took some health off. Okay. Got him. Booyah! There we go, boys! Let's laugh in their faces. Ha 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 ha. I'm better than you. Okay, there we go. Okay, totally owned them in the chat after that round. So that was a good fight to end my graduation trilogy on. So yeah, guys, this series of videos was a lot more for me rather than you guys, especially since I might not remember all the details about graduation week in the future, but at least even if I'm like 35, I can always come back to these videos and recall what graduation was like. So yeah, it's a very exciting time in my life, but now I'm glad high school is over and I'm ready to go. So yeah, thank you guys for watching today's episode of MinecraftWithLiam. I'll see you guys next time.